Hello and Happy New Year. It's Happy 2023. This is a reading for the 1st of January through the 7th of January 2023. Now, this is a rather interesting week. I'm doing this reading a little bit later than usual because I was stayed over elsewhere last night for New Year's Eve. And now today I'm, trying to catch up with all this before I embark on other things. Let's just begin with the tarot. This is the Aleister Crowley Thoth deck. In addition to that, we have a card from the Osho Zen deck. We have a card from the Antarian Oracle. We have a card from the Wisdom of the Tao Oracle, one from the Dark Goddess Oracle, from the Celtic Tree Oracle, and also from the Moonology Oracle. So this is our array of decks that we have for the day. Now let's begin with tarot. Now tarot is interesting because we've got two very hopeful and joyful cards with this card of self-doubt kind of sandwiched in the middle. Because the Seven of Discs or Seven of Pentacles in Crowley is the failure card. Now that doesn't mean there's going to be a failure, but there's a sense that either something's too good to, well, not so much too good to be true, but that there's something developing and you're wondering whether or not it's worth pursuing. I feel like, because there's also the Seven of Cups, which is kind of like, show me the money card. But this is this to me suggests something that is in the midst of growing and we're not really quite sure what the outcome is going to be, and we may have some doubts. That said, we're definitely flanked by ideas of having a lot of hope, and also the abundance card here, the Three of Cups, suggests that, there's, it's also a very social card, the Three of Cups. This is about connecting with others, about finding abundance in the community and not just in isolation. And there could be a lot of celebration here. So we have a lot of optimism and celebration, but we still got this middle piece of self-doubt here. If we go over to the Osho Zen deck, we have the maturity card, which is the Ace of Pentacles here, or the Ace of Discs. And this card suggests that we are operating from a place of experience and maturity. So there's a sense here that the kind of doubt that we see over here may not be warranted. That may be more habitual. There's a very strong Saturn energy to this card. And that kind of makes sense because we're in Capricorn right now. And as much as we are moving towards this new paradigm, because this is very, very strong Aquarian energy, there's still this attitude, from the past. I feel like this is more like things that we need to let go of, limitations and doubts about our ability that we need to let go of, because we are operating from this place of maturity. And as the Antarian Oracle points out with the Vortex card, this is almost like there's a sense here of, inevitability. The Vortex card, though, also implies a sense of potentially being a bit overwhelmed, like being caught in the wheel of things. So one needs to put themselves in the center and just sort of observe everything that's going on and take sort of a reflective position before acting. But from that vantage point, everything around is not really that important in and of itself. We definitely have this ability to move ahead and to move past. But the problem is when we get ourselves caught in the wheel, then we get dizzy, and then we get into this place. And usually, again, it's our own thoughts. Somebody said to me, I've done a whole lot of readings this week. I think I did like 7 readings just in the last 2 days of the year for people, and very long readings. But somebody had used the phrase analysis paralysis. And I said, that's a really good phrase, because you kind of get stuck in this vortex of, what might happen and what we have doubts about and where that might go. And when we don't have the evidence directly in front of us, we tend to think that, it's not going to happen. But this is suggesting that there's way more in the bigger picture than we think, and it's best to kind of take a center position and recognize that the flow of life is always going to have things that are chaotic or that are unknown or that we're not going to understand. So so not to worry about that. So I feel like the self-doubt, like the fact that it's flanked by so much abundance and optimism, suggests that this is more a habit that we need to get rid of in the new year. Now, if we look over here, the change of direction, the Uncle Cow card. We've gotten this a number of times in these readings. And again, this is the idea that we are naturally progressing in a different direction. And naturally, that means some things will fall away and some things will stay. And we need to not be fretting over what's falling away, because there may be an illusory nature to it. There may be a sense of like, no, that, you've been beating your head against that wall, and it's time to stop doing that and move ahead. So the change of direction card definitely implies that change is inevitable, and as it says here, in your favor. So there's this doubt here, but it's not, we tend to mourn what we don't have, and really what we should be doing is focusing on what we do have and what the opportunities are that are going to take us ahead. Now we have the Inara card from the Dark Goddess Oracle, and this again is trickery. So it's always saying, watch out for people who might not have the best motivation. This is a card that implies a kind of self-doubt. So obviously, there's a reason to be cautious and to not, to jump too fast and too furious into certain things, or necessarily, there may be some situations that are a bit questionable, or people who are a bit questionable. But we also have the Vine card here too from the Celtic Tree Oracle, and this has to do with following your intuition. So, and my feeling about this in connection with this is that a lot of the doubt that we're having comes from people who might be telling us to that maintaining the same old thing is the right thing to do. Okay, that it's not sensible to take these risks. It's not sensible to do this and that. And it is a form of trickery because it ends up keeping you locked in the same patterns that you actually need to get out of. And it's really relying on your intuitive knowing, this energy that's more, Aquarian energy is very mental, but intellectual mental. But this is more about what comes from the heart, or what comes from the gut, okay? From either the emotional center or from our gut instinct, which is more like the sacral chakra, the Svadhisthana, if you know what that is. That's the one directly above the root. And in women, certainly, it's where the uterus lies. It's that center between the root in the pelvis and the stomach center. And that is the center of our drive. Okay, and that's where a lot of our instinct comes from. And so there's a need to trust that, because we are certainly taught to have a tremendous amount of doubt about what our instincts are telling us. So this suggests to me that what we're seeing in front of us superficially, we may say, well, there's just A, B, and C. There's just these opportunities here, and I don't see anything beyond it. So there's really nothing else. That's what I should be focusing on, and not what the possibilities are. And I feel like this is saying, follow your instincts, because it's true. There's some opportunities that are going to be viable and some that are not. Okay, there's always a sense of choosing between what's real and what's not. But sometimes we need to be in a place where we're not judging that yet. We're looking at all the possibilities, and then later on, as we have more information, we're able to sort things out. And that's kind of what I feel like here. There's, the current situation may be a bit deceptive. So if things don't appear to be going your way, or don't appear to be very hopeful, that's just, that's illusory. You may be focusing on, what's going on right now. You may just need to sit back and wait a little bit. Now we have the full moon in Aquarius card, which is show the world the real you. And this suggests, again, that there may be certain situations that are somewhat out of your reach right now. You may feel like, I'm reaching for this, but, it's either a person or a situation that may be somewhat detached. But there may be a reason for that right now. There's this bigger picture has not yet fully been revealed. So, so there's a little bit of illusion right now as we're moving into 2023. There may be things that appear more doubtful to us, but I think ultimately what it's saying is, you need to be authentic to yourself and not let that sort of thing trick you. Now, the Norse rune that we have here, I think, supports this idea, because it's Wunjo and it's reversed. Wunjo is the rune of joy. And when it's reversed, there's this suggestion of, there's an image that's often presented here of the mother that's entering the delivery room and waiting to give birth to the child. But that moment of labor and delivery is a dangerous one. So we worry about what's going to be what we're giving birth to, about whether or not the safety of the child within, of the new thing that's coming in. but it just kind of says this is part of the process. There's always that dangerous part, as it were, as things are waiting to be born. But there's definitely the element of joy here. It's just, we, even if we're not seeing it yet, it's here and it will eventually come. And then that illumination will occur. So for right now, just remember to be true to yourself and true to your ideas. Be aware that you may be doubtful, but you can trust yourself and trust your experience and trust that things are moving. It might be a good time to do meditative practices, and the kinds of meditative practices I often suggest are the ones that have to do with detaching from the mind, where you kind of pull yourself into the center, and it's as though the world around you is just spinning around you. You're not you're kind of watching it as though it's like a movie on a continuous reel that's on like a carousel that's going around you. I think the first time I envisioned something like this, it was like I was watching pebbles, like being, like all the disturbances are pebbles being thrown into a pond, and you watch these concentric circles just kind of, fan out from them, but to put ripples on a very still pond. But it's only rocks being thrown into a pond. I mean, there's always going to be some circumstance, some situation, and we have to stop judging things in terms of their goodness or badness. They just are, and we need to learn to flow with it. And I feel like that's the kind of energy here, not to allow ourselves, in this Capricorn energy to try to be, yeah, we need to be somewhat realistic, but at the same time, we don't want to be so caught up in, New Year's resolutions, right? I mean, we're all like, oh, I need to diet and exercise and change this and change that and get a new this and get a new that. We may be doubting, who we are, and may feel like we need to fix or improve a whole lot of stuff. And this may be saying, it's not necessarily that you need to fix and improve. You just need to allow the real you to show through. And, and what doesn't appear to be happening right now will be coming soon. It's just, you're in this, this delivery and labor phase, as it were, of things. So overall, I think this is a very, very good reading. It kind of suggests to me that things are better than we tend to believe in our minds that they are. We tend to believe that there's more going on in a negative sense than there really is. So so be hopeful. Stay grounded, of course, but also be authentic. Like if you're authentically feeling like you need to move in a certain direction, try not to be filled with doubt, because it seems like there's a tremendous amount of potential that, for abundance and for optimism. And, there's a need to kind of, to recognize, because to me, the Seven of Discs to me is also something that really hasn't achieved its full form yet. So we can't really judge what the outcome's going to be, but we're trying to do that. So there's no need to do that yet. Sit back and wait and see where things are going, because there are some deceptive influences right now, or deceptive appearances, really. And we don't want to get ourselves too caught up in those. So that's it for now. Again, Happy New Year to everyone, and I'll see you next week.